Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So if you're new here, my name is Jason. I try and look at everything in the prop trading industry, new and old, and can make a lot of comparisons to see who's providing the best products for the traders right now. So what we've just seen is a new change to the 5%ers. They've now launched a new two-phase funding challenge to their existing products on their website. So if you're new to the 5%ers, they've been going since about 2016, very well established, got a great reputation. And I often get asked when I do my comparison videos of the best prop firms in the industry, why do I not include these guys? Now, up until now, they've not had a two-phase challenge model, and that is the majority of the prop firms out there doing that particular thing. Now, the 5%ers generally have a scaling plan where you're looking to grow your account from a very small amount. Over a long period of time, you can scale up to very large accounts and get some really good withdrawals. But obviously, they're being inundated and flooded with requests for a two-phase challenge model. They've now gone and reacted to that and given the traders what they've asked for. Now I think this is a step in the right direction. One, it'll allow the company to appeal to a wider audience, the people who do want to do the two-step challenge. It'll introduce them to the other products they have to offer, and if people aren't able to go through the two-step challenge model, then they might feel more beneficial if they've had great support and a great experience going to that, or they've not managed to pass, going on to the other scaling route and taking over a longer period of time. So I think that's actually a good benefit for the company. But as always, it's really digging into the small details of actually what they've actually got in a challenge and how do they actually differentiate themselves from the others. Are they better or are they worse? So on the surface of it, it's a two-phase challenge, 30 days for the part 1, 60 days for part 2, pretty much the same across most prop firms right now. The first phase profit target is 8%, second phase is 5%, again really good conditions there, again pretty much the best out there right now. But obviously what they have introduced here is rather than a sort of minimum days or to get to that first part of the funding, they've got a 3 profitable days. Now what it means by profitable days is essentially you need to have made 0.5% on that particular date. So that what that's doing is stopping traders from coming in on day 1, going in on a massive trade, hitting that 8% target, and then just going back and trading nothing for the remainder of the days. You still need to maintain and hit 0.5%. So I think most traders would actually find that actually quite easy to do, and I don't see that being a problem. For me, it's when you actually get into the funded stage, they still have that rule in place. Now I know being a funded trader, you might only want to trade 1 day a month. It could be that you've been away on holiday or whatever the reasons might be. You still need to achieve 3 days of profit of 0.5%. And I think when you're funded, that might actually become a challenge for a few traders, but not all of the traders. The other key hard rules with any of these two-phase challenges is the daily drawdown and the max drawdown. And here we can see it's pretty much 5% daily, 10% max. Again, nothing dramatic there. It's literally straight out of the box. We've copied everybody else and we've given everybody what they're used to having. So again, I don't see anything dramatic there. And I think for most traders working with correct risk management, they wouldn't be hitting that 5% daily. But we know that what you might not do is hit the actual profit targets. Now, where I see this being a bit of a challenge for some traders is that you only get 1 free retake. Now, for other prop firms, it's unlimited, but with the 5ers, it's only 1 free retake. And I don't know from my personal experience, I've been on many challenges where I've hit 4%, 7%, whatever the percentage I've hit, I've not managed to hit it in phase 1. And I've gone through, done a retake, and a retake. And eventually I've got on and passed. Here you're only allowed the 1. It's the same thing with the extension of days. If you are at 5% after the 30 days, you're only allowed 1 extension on that time limit. So again, other prop firms, if you go through and you get that extension, you then return back. If you don't manage to pass, you start again. You keep going in that cycle of completely trying until you get where you need to be. So I think that could actually limit some traders and catch a few people out if they don't actually read the small print on that particular rule. Now the other rules that everyone really likes to have is, can you trade news, can you hold over the weekend? Now what it says on their FAQs, yes you can hold trades over weekends and without any issue at all, you can have them for as long as you want to. But it does state that if you are trading indices, you will be liable for a large swap fee. It doesn't say how big that fee is going to be, but it's just one of those things to bear in mind that if you are into a long-term swing trade on indices, you could be subjected to big fees and that will really creep into the profits. Now although it says you can actually hold trades through news items, they have imposed a particular rule which says you cannot open and close trades around the 2 minutes of a news announcement around particular Forex pairs. We've seen it at other prop firms, and it's one thing that's actually quite easy to work around. But again, if we're seeing a shift away from that model into more relaxed trading, I would have liked to have seen that one actually abolished completely, because it does catch people out when you're actually in the funded stakes. It doesn't say whether you actually have to abide by that rule in the actual evaluation phases, but again, it's one of those things that if I was actually to sign up and take a particular challenge, I'd want that validated by their support teams before going ahead. So you can use EAs. It's very clear that you can trade with EAs, but again, it's subjected to a few number of rules. You cannot do copy trading from other people. You cannot use arbitrage or high frequency tick trading. So again, I think that's pretty much banned across the board by a lot of prop firms. So I don't see any problem there. Most people, if they've written or bought another EA from somebody else, would actually have no problem at all running on this particular platform and getting additional benefit from the trading on that side. Now, the one thing I do have a problem with is actually the naming of the actual challenges. They call it high stakes. Now, for me, that's really putting us into a gambling philosophy and gambling mentality. High stakes we sort of automatically associate with going to Vegas, going to high stakes, the high valued stake poker tables. Now, although they're looking at this in a way they've actually changed their leverage, so on normal programs it's 1 to 10, they've gone to 1 to 100. You can see that yes, that is potentially bringing in more of a high stakes, more of a higher risk side of it, but I don't perceive that being any additional gambling element. It is being focused and disciplined to work within a confined set of rules, which is the profit targets to meet on phase 1 and phase 2, as well as the actually daily drawdown. If you can do those, it doesn't matter what your leverage is, because you're actually managing your risk correctly. Yes, it might allow you to take a bigger position. Let's say you could probably take a 5, 10, 20 lots on gold, whereas on their normal program, their platform, you might be able to take a 1 lot on gold. So I don't see it as high stakes by their naming, but I can see why they've gone down that route to try and almost appeal to people who think high stakes means high rewards and better down the line. It would be nice if they actually came up with a better name for it. But again, I'm not in their branding and their marketing team. That's obviously a decision they've made and probably had some good feedback from when they've actually done it and reviewed it internally. So where do I think they would rank on my top 5 of prop firms on the 2 challenge phase at the moment? I think they would probably be breaking into the top 5 based on the fact that they have a very good experience, they've been established, they have a very great reputation, support team is fantastic. The criteria for passing a challenge is good, as well as the actual cost of the challenge. I think the downside is, as I mentioned there, is you don't get more than 1 retake, and you have some limitations around trading news with that 2 minute before and after the actual news event. So I think if they actually evaluate those in the upcoming months and make some changes, then possibly they could really break into that sort of top 3 level. But at the moment I've got them round about the sort of possibly 5th or 4th mark at the moment. But again, I always like to see how they perform over a period of months, as well as take feedback from people who've actually done the challenges, have experience, and can let me know in the comments how they're actually getting on. So as always, let me know your feedback, let me know what you're doing with your trading, and I'll try and respond wherever I can. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you again soon. Cheers!